What's in a name? Actually, quite a bit. Welcome to tutorial number 3, domain names, web hosts, and web platforms. Hi, I'm Candace. Welcome to Websites Made Easy with Candace. This tutorial series is based on my book, I Need a Website, What Do I Do Now? If you'd like to follow along, you can purchase my book at Amazon.com. Part 1, Choosing and Registering a Domain Name. A domain name is your web address. It's how people find you, how they remember you, and how they share you with others. A good name makes a lasting impression. A bad name is a detriment. Your domain name consists of 3 parts. The first part is the URL, the Uniform Resource Locator. Next is your name. Last is the extension, which are the letters after the dot. Put the parts together and you have a domain name. AmazingWebsites.org. .com is usually considered the best, but that's just because we're used to it. If it's not available, you can use .net or .org. There are a lot of variations. And www, World Wide Web, used to be included in the domain name, but it's not necessary anymore, and really, it's better to keep it short, so I wouldn't even include it. Here are 5 guidelines to help you choose a good domain name. Number 1, make it relevant. It should identify your business. Amazing websites. Websites Made Easy with Candace. You know instantly I'm about websites, and so does Google. If you put a description in your name, people can find you. If you're about organics, put it in the name. Don't be generic, be relatable. Joe's Organic Produce is so much better than Joe's Market. It's all about being found. People want to find you, and you want them to find you. Now, there's one exception to this rule, and that's if you're an artist, if you're a singer or a painter or an actor. You want people to find you not by what you do, but by your name. So definitely use your name followed by .com. But that's the only exception. Number 2, it should be easy to spell. Unique names may seem cool, but not when they're used for a domain name. Could you spell any of these? If there is confusion about how to spell a name, potential customers just give up. So keep it simple and no hyphens or numbers either. Number 3, it should be easy to pronounce. You want your customers to tell other people about you. Do you know how to pronounce these names? Number 4, it should be easy to remember. Keep it short. Think Apple or Target or Nike. You're going to be putting it on your business cards and in all your advertising. If it's too long, it will be difficult to remember, it'll take up too much space, and it will be hard to type correctly. And number 5, it should be positive. It should have a positive vibe. People are going to associate your domain name with your brand, so you want it to be positive. Eve's Tavern is better than Eve's Bar. So let's recap. You want to choose a name that is relevant to your business, easy to spell, pronounce, and remember, and one that has a positive vibe. Once you settle on a name, you need to analyze it and make sure it works. Here's some companies who didn't. Sam and Ella's. Not a good name for a pizza place. Salmonella? They could have avoided the problem by calling it Ella and Sam's. Passmore Gas and Propane. Gas and propane ink would have been so much better. And sometimes it's best not to use your own name. Amagon Funeral Home. I mean, seriously, how did anyone miss that? Make sure the URL also reads the way you want. Is it chooses pain or choose Spain? And American scrap metal can certainly be read differently as well. And keep in mind, if you decide at some point to expand internationally, check the translation. Sounds easy, but some very big companies didn't do that. The Coca-Cola brand name, when they first marketed it in China, was translated to "eat the wax tadpole." It was still popular, but. And Kentucky Fried Chicken. They marketed in China too, and their tagline, "finger licking good," translated to "eat your fingers off." When you've decided on a name and analyzed it, it's time to look it up on whois.com. Go to whois.com, type in your domain name, and click on search. I used amazingwebsites.org. I knew it was going to be unavailable, but I wanted to see what alternatives they would give me. Notice that the prices vary for different extensions. If someone has previously registered the name, then you'll either have to buy it from them or come up with another name. And it may be something simple. Wineshop.com might not be available, but wineshop.net is. Or maybe there are no wine shops, so you add a my or a the in front of it. So it'd be theWineshop.com or myWineshop.com. And if that doesn't work, then you can add your name, joeswineshop.com or joeswineshop.net. So there are all kinds of ways that you can make variations and make it fit, or come up with a totally different name. What if your name is registered, but nobody's really using it? Cyber squatters are people who register names of famous people or famous brands or catchy names, and then they just sit on them and wait for them to become popular, and then they cash in and sell it at a big price. You might not be famous. I'm certainly not famous. But maybe a business name that you have has already been registered, and somebody's just sitting on it. Amazingwebsites.com. I really wanted that domain name. It was registered in 2001 and parked on GoDaddy. I can buy the name on whois.com for only $10,098. Needless to say, I can live without .com at the end. I chose .org, and I've had no problems whatsoever. Stay away from trademark names or names that are close to trademark names. You do not want the legal hassle. If you have a name that you really like and you don't want someone else to use it, you can trademark your name, and you don't need a lawyer. The basic cost is $225, but it does take about 9 months to go through the process, so you have to be patient. After that, once every 5 years, you have to pay $125 to keep it registered. You can apply for a trademark at uspto.gov/trademark. Chances are you're going to have to get creative with your name or come up with a different extension. Once you select your domain name, you need to register it with a domain name registrar. It'll cost you $10 to $15 a year, and you have to renew it every year or you lose the name. So it's best to put it on your calendar so you don't forget. You have 3 choices in which to do the registration. You can use a website builder for free. You can use a paid plan through a website builder, or you can do it independently. If you decide to use a website builder and do it for free and not have to pay the $10 or $15 a year, you don't own the name. They do, because they paid the fee. And your name will be, instead of amazingwebsites.org, it'll be amazingwebsite.godaddy.org or amazingwebsites.wix.org. And if you want to move to another website builder in the future, you can't take that name with you because you don't own it. So you'll have to start all over. And it also reeks of unprofessionalism. I mean, anyone that sees your name will know you got it for free. You didn't want to spend the extra $10, $15 a year to do it the professional way. So it looks cheap. And people don't like cheap. And they associate cheapness with your business products and your services. So it's just not a good idea. It may be tempting, but it's not a good idea. The second choice is to have a paid plan through a website builder. So if you decide to go with a website builder and you pay for a plan and you ask them to register your domain name, then it becomes yours because you're paying. So the name belongs to you and they don't put their name in there. A lot of these website builders will offer the first year registration for free as well. So that's pretty good. And if you want to transfer it later to another website builder, there'll be no problem. They'll help you also register it each year. It's not rocket science, it's easy to do, but it is convenient for them to do it. The other option is to register it independently. It's the best option. It separates your domain name from your website. If your website gets hacked, your domain name is safe. And if you want to change to go to another website builder in the future, you don't have to move your domain name. It stays with the original registrar and you won't have any problems. Nobody's going to pay the first year for free though, like a lot of the website builders do. So it's up to you. But certainly option 2 or 3 will work. Here are some recommended companies that offer domain registration. Some offer website building. Do them separately. How do you choose? How are they different? Well, the first thing you want to do is check pricing on registration, renewal, and if they charge different prices for different extensions. Most do. You want to make sure that domain transfer is free. And you want to make sure customer service is free. Make sure that they offer privacy protection. Privacy protection is an add-on service, and you really need it. It's about $9 a year, but it protects your information. If you don't have it, anybody can go on to whois.com and find out your name, your address, email, telephone number. And with this information, they can send you all kinds of emails. You can get sales calls. You can get scammed. You could get hacked. Your information could be sold. So it's best to protect yourself, and it's relatively inexpensive. Here's what it looks like if you don't have privacy protection. You see the name, address, phone number, and email is all shown on whois.com. And here's a picture of what it looks like if you have privacy protection. They should also offer an SSL certificate. A secure socket layer certificate is an add-on service that assures the viewer that your website is secure. It's sort of like a seal of trust that customers value. SSLs establish an encrypted connection between the browser, which is Yahoo or Google, and your website to protect sensitive data like credit card information. Not secure will appear in the front of your website if you don't have it. And in today's world where everyone's afraid of being hacked, you don't want that. Here is a comparison of domain registrars that I did this week. Next week, the prices may be different, but this will give you an idea. You can see that the extension costs vary. .com is less than .net this week. Renewal costs vary. GoDaddy has a promo on right now for 99 cents for 1 year. How can you beat that? But the renewal cost is going to be $17.99. Whois doesn't have raises in renewal costs. They're the same for the second year as they are for the first. Privacy protection varies in cost, and you can see SSLs can be expensive. Whois.com offers a basic plan for as little as $9.98 a year, while GoDaddy charges $79. Here are some other companies to consider. If you're going for e-commerce, focus on Shopify. Do your research and shop around. After you register your domain name, you need to find a company to host your website. Part 2, finding a web host company. A web hosting company stores all of your website content on a server. When someone types in your domain name, it is sent through the internet to your website host. The web host gets the information requested from the server and then delivers it back to the user. In a matter of seconds, the home page of your website appears. They also keep your website up 24/7, and they offer customer service. You have 4 options in choosing a website hosting company. You can opt to do it for free. You can opt for a shared plan, a virtual plan, or a dedicated plan. So let's talk about the free option first. There are problems. Most require you to have the host name in your name, as we talked about earlier. AmazingWebsites.org would become AmazingWebsites.wix.org. So you don't own the name, they do. And there are complications if you try to move to another platform. But here's where it becomes more problematic. You are not viewed as credible. You are telling the world that you're cheap. As we stated earlier, you never, ever want to look cheap. Search engines like Google don't take your name seriously. And this is important because it's search engines that locate you on the web for your customers. It's not a great deal if you're competing in the marketplace because they offer so few features. Speed is slower, and Google ranks websites on speed. Uptime is the amount of time your site is up, not down. This can be an issue because at peak usage times, you might be kicked offline. File size is limited to 1 megabyte per file, which limits the use of images, graphics, and special features like sliders or videos. You don't have an SSL certificate, so your site is not secure. Your site will have a limited bandwidth. Think plumbing. A limited bandwidth is like a small, narrow pipe. The more the bandwidth, the larger the size of the pipe, which allows information to flow through. Once you're over your allotment, your site goes down. Customer support is limited, if at all. And there are all kinds of ads on your website, and you don't have a choice about what they're going to be. And they could be anywhere on your site, on the top or the side or the bottom, and they change every few seconds, which is annoying. It's a big distraction for a viewer. Don't do it. I mean, here again, free is not always best. The next option is shared hosting. That's where most people are. You still share a server with a lot of different websites, but you have more features than the free option. I have shared hosting. I've always had shared hosting. It costs me less than $20 a month, and I've never had any problems. And a lot of website builders will knock off half price for the first year. You just got to keep in mind, if it's $12 the first year, it's going to be $24 the next, so keep that in mind. But still, it's a deal. Virtual hosting is fewer people on a server. It's more secure and it's faster, but it costs more too. It's $40 to $60 a month. And then finally, dedicated hosting. That's for big companies who have a lot of clients and a lot of traffic, and they need more security and more speed. And it's the most expensive. It's going to cost about $150 plus every month. My advice, choose the shared hosting. Most small businesses don't need the extra services provided by virtual and dedicated hosting. Part 3, how to choose a website builder. You've registered your domain name and you've chosen your web hosting company. Now you need to decide, how are you going to build it? And you have 4 options. You can do it yourself. You can use a content management system. That's the most popular. You can have a custom site, hire somebody to do it. And you can choose whether you want to do e-commerce or not. So let's take the first one, do it yourself. If you opt for do it yourself, you need to know code and you need to know design. Oh, no! You can take courses online or not. You can spend a lot of time learning how to build a website. Most of the people who are watching my tutorials aren't going to choose number 1. They're going to choose number 2, Content Management Systems, CMS. And the reason is because they figured out all the code and you don't have to worry about it. And in today's world, small business people do not need to learn code. There are 2 types of CMS. One is customized and the other is drag and drop. Customized is more difficult. WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal are the customized programs. WordPress is the easiest, it's the most popular. It does have drag and drop programs. 30% of all websites are built with WordPress, and it's free. Notice the companies that use WordPress. Second is Joomla. It is second to WordPress in ease and popularity. The name means all together in Swahili. It powers about 3% of the websites on the internet. Here are some companies that use Joomla. And finally is Drupal. It's third in popularity, has about 2% of the websites on the internet. It's the most technical, it's the hardest to learn. Here are some companies that use Drupal. What you're probably going to be using will be the drag and drop programs because they offer so many templates and they're so much easier to use. WordPress can be included in this type of platform because they use drag and drop programs, but it is the most difficult to learn. Option number 3, custom built websites. Let somebody else do it. And if you've got the money, it'll save you a lot of time. There are 3 ways to do this. You can hire a web design company, and they have lots of programmers and graphic artists, but it's going to cost you. They start about $10,000. You can hire a freelancer, and this is more personal. Make sure it's a good fit, and make sure that the person has a business and isn't just someone else knew who built a website for someone else. Those prices usually start about $1,500. Or you could opt to do offshore, which I do not recommend. When you're dealing with someone from another country, You have language issues. You have time issues. They may be on a different, it may be midnight there when it's noon here. You have issues with licensing. You may have copyright issues. Your customer data may be compromised. They have system crashes, fraud. There are all kinds of problems that you can't control. And they'll try to lure you in with really cheap prices. I've seen them as low as $99. But you can't rely on them. It's really taking a gamble. It's just not worth it. So don't do it. And option number 4, e-commerce. If you're going to sell online, go with a third-party shopping cart application company like BigCommerce or Shopify. They're very reliable. They offer 24/7 support. And they're perfect for small businesses that want to sell online. Now's the time for you to do a little research. Start looking at websites of similar businesses to yours. Check out your competition. What colors are they using? What images are they using? What fonts? What kind of text do they write? What do you like about the websites and what do you dislike, and how would you do it better? In the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at templates and we're going to be learning how to use them. It's going to be great and I can't wait. Don't forget to smash the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to my channel and you'll be notified when the new tutorials are available. Good girl.